For this project, we'll need a hammer, adjustable wrench, 1/4 inch Whitworth socket, screwdriver socket, 1/2 inch drive, a taper tap, 5/8 11 thread per inch. Do not use the bottoming tap. See the difference? This one's more tapered, and it's called a taper tap. So use that one. A 5/8 carriage bolt, same thread as the tap, probably 10 inches long, not critical. So, oh, and also some penetrating oil. So, let's get the crankshaft out of the bike. This is an early Triumph 650 unit construction crankshaft, but this one has timing marks, which pre-units don't have. It has a Whitworth screw to hold the sludge trap in, which later bikes have a 9/16. The piece we're trying to take out is this, and it lives in here behind this plug, and it's held in by that screw, which fits in that hole. So it's actually not held in by much other than friction and a lot of caked sludge, which is this dry stuff, dry crumbly stuff, but it can really prevent it coming out. When we take the plug out, it should look like this. No damage. So, first step, penetrating oil. And we let that soak in overnight. So we'll come back tomorrow to finish the video. One essential tool that I did not mention, an impact wrench, 1/2 inch drive with a super slow speed. You can see it goes pretty slow there. If you have a cheap tool that doesn't have a slow speed, it just won't work. So these screwdriver bits, you can get them at any parts store, any automotive store. I ground this down, I ground the edges off so it would fit, and I also gave it a curvature, because this plug has a curved slot. It's a crescent moon shape, really. It's like it was cut out with a keyway cutter. So I ground this down to kind of match, so that the bit would get a good purchase on the slot. Now that came out completely unharmed. The slot is widened a little, but it's perfectly usable. Now you'll hear people say, you've got to drill out that dimple or grind it off, but that won't help. If you think about it, that metal has been deformed. So the threads on their way out are deforming it back to normal. There's a beautiful plug. And here you can see that the sludge trap is close to half filled with sludge. So we'll be getting that out of there. What I'll do first, just so I can work, is break away some of that sludge, just so I can get in there with the tap. Now what we're going to do, we're not going to cut a thread. we're going to make shallow grooves in this tube so that it remains usable. We just have to make shallow grooves so that we can pull it out. We can get a grip on it. I'm going to use a little more penetrating oil, just so the sludge will let go a little, just to loosen it up. Now we're not cutting a critical thread, so we don't have to use a tap wrench. So I can feel that cutting. I'm still going back and forth a little, just on general principles. Less than a half a turn, and then I back off to break the chip. Now I can feel I've really got grooves happening in there. Yeah, this really, I can see I've really grooved it. That's a matter of feel. You should probably undergroove it rather than overgroove it to begin with. Very sludgy. You always have to back it off to break the chip. When you break the chip, you can give it another Okay, let's try that. That might be enough. Very sludgy. Before we go on, I'm going to take out that 5/16 BSF screw. Now we're ready to, we're just going to turn this, just fingers, till it jams. Now those are just grooves, so if I tightened it with a wrench, I'd probably just rip out the grooves I just made. That's nice and hand tight. Now I'm going to use a body hammer. You should use a ball peen hammer probably, but I like the body hammer for reasons we don't have to talk about right now. And I'm going to strike the underside of the carriage bolt while I steady it with one hand. And there's the sludge trap. Oh, a little over half full of sludge. So we probably only had another 50 years left on that rebuild. So this has to be scrubbed out with a rifle cleaning brush, and that hole also, and then blow out the, make sure these holes are clear. But that's a subject for another video.